Let's go to Patrick in Arizona.
Thank you, Kathy. Good to meet you, Catherine.
Patrick.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? Okay, great. Originally, your book was, or actually the Harvard Business Review article was recommended to me by a very successful entrepreneur, is a good friend of mine. And so he naturally found the business argument as applied to the political system, about which he also has great interest, very relevant. And so it's kind of opened my eyes in your original argument a couple of years ago. So I really congratulate both of you for coming up with the analysis. So I worked on open primaries here in Arizona a few years back, been involved in other efforts of political reform in Arizona, and gets a little bit actually to the question that Harry asked a moment ago. In Arizona, we've tried a lot of political reforms. Many of them have improved certain things. For example, we have an independent redistricting commission, which today has made Arizona's 9 congressional districts include 3 to 4 of the most competitive districts in the country.
Wow.
So independent redistricting can make a difference. Didn't make as much of a difference in our state legislature as it does in the congressional one, but it, little by little. Nonetheless, there have been other reforms. For example, we've had a campaign finance reform measure here that eventually got eroded and essentially eaten away by the parties and the political interests. And today it's a rather weak program, and very few people participate in it. So it leads to my question, which is, do you have any sort of notions of how, once you get reform, hopefully Alaska, Massachusetts, Florida, wherever it happens, once you get it in place, of following it up with essentially an additional political movement to take advantage of the new system that hopefully will forestall as much as possible the parties, the powers that be that have the capture of the current, capture is an economic term in business, right, with government, the capture of the current model, so that you can forestall their effort to capture the new system.
Yeah, Patrick, you're right. There's going to be an ongoing battle, and I don't mean that like a good versus evil battle, but just a battle, which is to say that organizations and humans will constantly optimize under the system that they are in. So when we change these rules, then all of those players in the political industrial complex will work to figure out how they need to engage the best to, do well in that system. Now, my hope, candidly, is that they will find that this new politics industry doesn't necessarily make their lives worse. Like, for example, the elected officials in Congress, all the people except for leadership who would be elected under these rules of the game will actually have better jobs because they'll have more freedom to do what needs doing, and they won't be under the thumb of leadership in the same kind of way at all. And so I tell, elected officials, I say, look, there's no layoffs. We're not getting rid of any jobs. You could just win again. And now you get to do what you want to do instead of what you're told to do by, Mitch McConnell or Nancy Pelosi. You can listen to your constituents instead of, this partisan team you have to be in lockstep allegiance with. So I think that there are I think in well-regulated industries, regulation hits the right balance between sort of being good for the customer, but still allowing companies to flourish. And there's never any exact right amount of regulation. But my point is, I think that we've made some mistakes in the rules that we've tried to implement that have had unintended consequences in our politics industry. And that, this is now some of the reason why we know, why we can make the case in the analytical case that final five voting is the best option available to us right now is because of everything we've learned from some of the things we've tried before that either haven't been powerful enough or aren't achievable or achievable enough. And so we can know that we should go this direction. But nonetheless, we will have to pay attention ongoingly. Thomas Jefferson said, or he didn't really say it, but he's quoted as having said, there is, we don't have government by majority in America. We have government by the majority who participate. And historically, I always thought that meant I needed to participate by voting. But I now know that it means we have to participate also in the design of the rules of the game, and not just the ones we might remake in this next decade, but we have to watch them then so that we, they don't get out of control. Although I think one of the things that the political scientists will be able to prove over time is that there will be natural cycles. So let's say we change these rules and we do get innovation results and accountability, a rebirth of those things present in our government. People will naturally take their eye off of that for a while. They will, and there'll be a bit of a degradation and you'll have to come at it again. I think democracy and all of our organizations are living organisms really that way. But nonetheless, this is what we should do now. This is at the sweet spot now. And when I say sweet spot, the sweet spot of being powerful and achievable, the sweet spot of, another way of looking at it is it's doable and it's worth doing. And this is right in the bullseye of that. And so we go for it.